everybody, and I want to offer my traditional introduction in a very brief way to the sacred space. Nichi ikinawat, nawat no toka, chikwasen kuwatli siwat. Greetings, my family, my friends. I am Six Eagle Woman, and I am very honored to share my traditional name with you all. So, to begin with, I just want to apologize that if you know Spanish, my title is probably misleading. It sounds like we're just going to clean my kitchen, maybe. So that is a good idea too, but that's not what we're going to do. So that occurred to me last night that, yeah, we're not going to clean my kitchen. But what I pictured was the holidays are coming up. We're going to be around family and friends. And there are those people we love very dearly that maybe are not aware of or appreciative of healing and reconciliation or walking a spiritual path. And, I know my siblings, they tend to look at me kind of like, I think they say her healer stuff, but what they really mean is like woo-woo, right? Like it's a little too out there, right? So, however, I can't give up. I can't say, oh, that's not them, that's, they don't get it. I can't just say that, because to say that another human being is not a spiritual being is to say they are not a biological being. They are not a physical being. If I'm looking up and, like Stephen Hawking and Einstein are listening right now, and they're like, when are the people going to get it? We tried to show them in a scientific way that we are all spiritual beings, okay? So as we walk the path of healing and reconciliation, it is most certainly a spiritual path, as is everything we do. Everything we do is done with our spirit, and there's no escaping it, but there is denying it. So that's what we're going to work on today, is like, how do you get your brother, your sister, your friend, more hands-on and more in an acknowledgement of the possibility that there are energies and powerful technologies in the spiritual realm, okay? And I really think that with the restrictions of the pandemic, some people are just more willing to listen. They're like, this world's crazy. Why don't I just go along with it? So I think that's in our favor, okay? So let me see. Okay, I don't want to really talk too long, but so I just want to like paint this scene. Is this something, so this is my disclaimer too. Is this quick on the spot Limpia something that I want you to do for yourself? No. Because this is something that you have to have some safety issues with. We might be working with fire. You have like a variety of things right here in front of you that I'll show you in a minute that you have to handle. And it's a very physical, hands-on type of healing work, spiritual cleansing. So I really don't want you to do it for yourself. Could you just take the herbs and brush yourself? Sure. Could you just take an egg one day and be like, I just want to massage myself with this egg? Yes. But to do the whole thing, you need to have that presence of that this is like an offering. and you're assisting with healing, okay? However, you could have someone do it for you and you tell them what to do. If that person will pray for you, if that person loves you, go for it. But you tell them the steps, okay? So yes, we can self-heal in a lot of ways, like I showed, but to do this whole thing, it's just, if you want to heal, go make an Epsom salt foot bath, like keep it simple. If you want to heal yourself, it's got to be really simple, not this show I'm putting on today. Okay, but but the thing is the advantage is just like teaching in school. When you have students with learning disabilities, the more hands-on, the more tactile everything is, the more they engage, the more they learn, the more they incorporate this healing work into themselves. So we are physical beings, and the tools and items we use in the physical world are invaluable. So that's why we can go to this kind of a little bit of trouble to do this. Now, I just realized this morning, I actually have a friend that I really need to do this with, because she's one of those people. She's like, she asked me for herbs for her boyfriend, and she's from a different country. She's from Lebanon, okay? So she's still not familiar with the Southwest at all. However, she has some really cool little folklore grandma stuff from her side that I'm learning about. But she doesn't have a concept like really what we do in a traditional healing ceremony. And I just realized as I was preparing for this class, I can go to her kitchen, and next time she asks me about this, I can do this in her kitchen. And I never thought of that before. Usually we're working on school stuff together. So here we go. So I have homework too, to go do this for my friend in her kitchen, okay? So that's the trick. You don't have your stuff with you when you do this, for reals. So that's how I tried to prepare it. So let me take you to look down at the countertop now. And I hope it's pretty clear. And once we go through the items, I'll stop for questions, okay? So I have 2 prayers right here, okay? They're not written down. And my prayers are my choice. Or like if I'm doing it for Ragada, I'll probably do the Lord's Prayer. She's gonna love that one, okay? And then my dried herbs. I've got, let me look. Rosemary, I don't know if you guys can see it. But again, you're gonna get what you have. This one, it's oregano, for reals. And then I got, you can read this one, cloves. And then I like the lemony smell. This is ground coriander. But I mean, I have a whole spice rack, and I grabbed a sample because you will not know what you have to choose from. But you can't go wrong with rosemary, and you can't go wrong with oregano. However, it is strong. And also it's kind of on you to educate yourself on herbs in a way. I don't have time for that. But I will just say oregano is strong. You wouldn't want to just do that. Only oregano. Okay? And then if your friend has spices they love, like my friend, she has a mix of Lebanese spices. And you know what? I wouldn't even use these. I'm just going to take her mix that she loves and that she cooks with all the time. Okay? Because if you can cook with it, you can burn it. It's not going to hurt you. Okay? So there's the herbs. Okay. And then, oh, and here's the fresh herbs, which you want to rinse off. Okay. If you don't have fresh herbs, then you need this flour sack towel, okay? It's thin. It's not a thick terry cloth towel. And you need this rubber band and the rice. I forgot to get the rice. Okay. Maybe I'm going to start a YouTube cooking show. Who knows, Maya? Who knows? I might be famous. Okay. So you're going to take this rice and those herbs that your friend loves, okay? And you're going to put it in the middle of this flour sack towel. And don't be shy because you want them to smell it. And if it's big chunks, you want to smash it up a little bit. And remember, you got to hurry because she might change her mind. Oh, this is too much trouble. What are the kids going to say? What if my boyfriend walks in? Tell him, don't worry about it. We're just cooking. Because people don't want to have to explain things they don't understand, okay? So be generous there. I might put a little more. Because we're using this instead of the fresh herbs. When you brush somebody with fresh herbs, they can smell it. But when you are using this for your brush, you want to make sure there's a lot in there. And then you're going to gather it up. You could use a bandana. If a bandana would probably be easier. A sock would work, but I don't know if you have socks in the kitchen. Okay, now if any of you just did this, you're gonna be so happy because this thing is amazing. Don't do this for reals, but just for today, it smells so good. I made one last night and then I slept with it. It was like awesome. But when you're working on somebody else, don't use it for yourself first, okay? All right, next, then we use the rice. Okay, so now before we go on, pick what herbs you're gonna do your blessing with your pan. That's our next step. Here's my old tin pan. Or if you have a cast iron, it'll work great. I don't want you to mess up your expensive stuff though. Okay, or sorry, her expensive stuff. Okay, but I'm saying like a tablespoon. Maybe not a tablespoon of cloves, just if you want to use that, just a little bit. Maya's thinking back to them clove smoking days. I don't feel like putting the coriander, but I will put this one. So you've got your dry herbs for your sweeping, and then you have your dry herbs for the smudging. Now, depending on where their smoke detector is, you kind of need to be conscious of this because you can sometimes get that smoke going, just like when you're cooking. So you might want to turn the fan on. That way, the other kids and people who are around, they're not going to worry. You know, they won't hear so much of what's going on. Okay, so you're just talking to her and, you know, grinding up your herbs, or maybe she has a little mortar and pestle. And, you know, what this is really doing is putting that, the offering, your offering of your love for this person is going into these herbs, okay? And you're still talking to her to make sure she doesn't back out, all right? So that's pretty good. Okay, so those are ready. And then next on, and there's our pot holder in case we need to pick up that pan. Okay, but I don't want to put it on there. Then, now we have our towel, our clean towel, hopefully, maybe there's no more clean towels, but a towel for the altar cloth, okay? That's what this is gonna be. And then we're also gonna need a glass of water for you. Doesn't have to be so full. And a nice glass of water for your friend, your comadre, okay? And you don't need the picture. And then you have your egg, and I'll answer questions about that. And then I put on there a rock, a wooden spoon, or a cinnamon stick, because this is gonna be your altar item representing the earth, okay? So I have a grinding stone, but this is my kitchen. See, she's not gonna have a grinding stone, but a lot of people maybe don't have wooden spoons. I don't know. Maybe they don't even have a wooden cutting board, but they might have a cinnamon stick. And then if all else fails, I would just clean off her salt shaker a little bit, and I would just get a salt shaker, because salt is a rock, and salt represents Mother Earth, okay? So maybe we should just go with that. Okay, quick questions on the items, because I know it's a lot of stuff. Are we good? It's easy, Kendall, just keep going. Okay, all right, we've all cooked dinner before, Kendall, it's not rocket science. All right, so now comes, let me just say this to you. The reason you did this in the first place is because she was talking to you, and she's like, I just don't know. I don't know if my marriage is gonna work out. I don't know if my son's gonna get off drugs. I don't know if I'm ever gonna be friends with my sister again. She's in a hopeless spot, and that's why you're doing this, okay? And she trusted you with her innermost sadness, and like to honor that and to transform it and help her in healing it. We're gonna call upon the Spirit. We're gonna call upon the elements that we're made of, and we're gonna use our familiar prayers and the love in our heart so that this person we love so much can transform and grow and evolve, okay? So here is when we're starting to set up the altar, okay? Look at my time. All right, doing okay. And the last thing I want to say, well, that's not true. One thing I want to say before I start up this altar is once you start working on someone, you don't do all the talking like I'm doing with you guys. You work quickly, because when we work quickly and with intention, it puts a momentum, and that allows the person to have that seriousness and that energy to heal quickly, okay? And this is something that took me a long time to learn, as I'm sure you can imagine the way I like to talk. Okay, so now comes the smoke. If you don't have your stove, you're just gonna have to get creative. You're gonna maybe light a candle, maybe just light a match. And I think you could just hold a match and bless your items with a burning match, or blow out the match. You know, a lighter just won't work, people. You're gonna have to get a little bit more down home. And so I just got to show you guys what I'm doing. Okay. So I'm offering to the four directions just a little bit, and I'm going to start blessing my altar items one by one. Okay. These are all the herbs we used. This is the herbs we're going to use some more, but we might need more. You never know. Or this herbs, this is not it, this one. And our sweeper. Okay. And then you can turn it off. You might want to just like get yourself in the space, and then you can turn it off, because we're on the down low, you guys. This is like guerrilla Limpia. Maybe that's what I should have called it. Okay, we're ready. So if you look on in the chat to the next steps of the Limpia, we started that. We've talked about the Plática. The Plática is the time you just spent talking, okay? And kind of the time you kept convincing this person that they want to do this, okay? Which doesn't sound like a very genuine healer trait, but I mean, they agreed to it. You're just going to have that assumption like, hey, I can do a kitchen blessing. It's what the grandmas used to do. You want to try it? Like, yeah, I'll try anything. Okay. All right. So that's your comfort. You got consent, go for it. But you might have to keep them, as you're getting things ready, you have to keep them on the line. All right. So we just did our blessing of all the tools. If this is someone who is in touch with the four directions and all that, take it to another step. But you know, in here, you have air, you have fire, you have water, and you have earth. You know that those are on the altar. Doesn't matter if they know, because this is your ritual you're performing, okay? So now you're going to perform the prayer and sweeping. And I have a volunteer. It's my broom, and I put a hat on my broom so it looks like a head. Okay. Now, one more important thing before you begin. If you are short and this person is tall, have them sit down. Don't ever forget it's a safety issue when you're cooking or working in the kitchen. But if you're the same height or taller than the person, please have them stand up, because they are participating more in the healing if they're standing up, because much of that time their eyes will be closed and they're really going to have to concentrate on, they might feel a little lighter. They might feel a little dizzy. We don't know what they're going to feel, but they're more engaged if they're standing up, okay? If it's an elderly, I would have them sit down for sure. So based on safety, but if it's safe, have them stand up. And so this is my little friend, and I'm going to pray for her when we start. And I'm either holding my, I guess like a sachet, the rice and the herbs, or if she's a real chef, she might have that herb garden outside, right? I'm holding the herbs there, okay? But I'm not going to bank on that, so we'll use this. Then I'm going to pray for her, and I'm going to recite a prayer for her quickly, and then I'm going to see, you guys can't really see me, it's so good. I'm going to recite a prayer for her quickly that's like grounding me into what's going to happen. And then I might pray for her to, God, this is your child. She has spoken with her own power. She has spoken the feelings on her heart, and she's asking for a relief. She's asking for more joy and happiness and direction and hope in her life. There's simple things like this that you want to put in her mind, that she wants these things. because there's so many times we don't believe we can have these things, that you have to put it in there. And that's good enough. And then you just start telling her, okay, I'm going to start sweeping you now with the herbs. And I'm telling you guys, go make yourselves one of these. It is so nice. And you just sweep. I'm going to lift her up, and I'm just sweeping. It's so soft. It's really nice, this little sachet with the rice. All the way down. And just all the way down. And you have to get down. You might crawl around on the floor, but you're sweeping all the way down. And when it comes to her back, tell her, I'm going to go a little harder on your back because it's like a massage. And give her some good, nice wax on the back. It doesn't hurt. It feels good. And, you know, she might want to do that a long time, but that's not what we're doing. We're sweeping the body, but we want to really wake up her back, her shoulders, okay? And then just keep sweeping all the way down to the feet, under the feet, everywhere you can, the chest, okay? And we can't be too self-conscious. This is what I've learned from my maestros from Mexico. It's like, we have a lot of self-consciousness of our body here in America, and you just tell her, I'm sweeping your chest now, okay? Because it's not your hand, people. This is just the rag, right? I'm sweeping your chest now. I'm sweeping your stomach, and just tell her, her part of her body. I'm sweeping your bottom. Say what you're doing, and it's not an invasion. And if they're uncomfortable, they'll tell you. And you know, that's your friend. It's your close friend. So she'll tell you, oh, don't do that. Or, oh, I hurt there. Okay? This is not a client. This is your friend, your loved one. Okay? And so you finish that. And so what's so nice about this sachet, just like if you did it with the herbs, and by the way, this is not really enough herbs, but it would work. But you would want like something like that big, like as big as this spoon. You want a nice broom of herbs to brush the body with. But you can make it with this, but go for more if you can. So whether it's the herbs or the sachet, they stand on it, okay? If this is too bumpy, just put it between her feet, okay? So they stand on these or between the feet. And that part of the Limpia is finished. Now, what do we have down here next? Okay. That stays there. All right. Next, we have the egg, okay? The egg massage. And this is just an egg from my chickens, but you can use her egg, which she has from Walmart. Or as usually happens at this time of the year, we used all the eggs. There's no more eggs, okay? So you can use a lemon. You can use an avocado, but that's kind of expensive. I don't know if you're going to use avocado. You could use a tomato. You could use an apple, okay? Any fruit, you could use it. Okay, but traditionally it's an egg. Now, it could be they don't have any of that stuff. You could use a rock, okay? What you use is going to be offered back to the earth, okay? What you use for this part will be offered back to the earth. So, you know, that's your main thing you want to think about, okay? Don't use her favorite crystal. Well, I suppose if you're using a crystal, it will work. You just have to rinse it off and cleanse it. So she'll know that if she's into crystals, okay? But any food item is going back to the earth. Okay. Yeah, you could use her favorite crystal, but I'm not counting on this being a crystal person, okay? So now, you get her back, and you're gonna start. Let me see if I can push this down. Traditionally, you can make little circles or crosses. And sometimes I like the crosses, especially on hair. Other times I like the circles. But, you know, it's all just in your preference, your technique. Sometimes I just do the lines, all right? All the way down the shoulders. Definitely get the face. Where's her face? Definitely get the face. It's so soft, it's so soothing. The eyes, the nose. You can be very gentle. And I'm going to tell you what, when you use an egg on somebody, they pay attention because they don't want that egg to break. All right? And so they're really paying attention now, and you're being very gentle, and they hold very still automatically. And again, the whole body, the arms, the hands, it really just depends on how much time you have. If you feel like you don't have a lot of time, then be really efficient. If, you know, she's just really enjoying it, then really, you can really get into it. Okay? But this is not to be reused, no matter what kind of food item it is. This is not to be reused. It is to be offered back so Mother Earth can transmute the energy. Okay? And yeah, whereas the herbs can be rough, this is gentle. Okay? So it's like you wake up the energy with the herbs, and then you kind of calm them back down with this. And this is really fun. They love it. Okay? And then you tell them, we're almost done. Okay? After you do that, when you put this right back on your altar, we're almost done. They're like, oh, good, but it feels so good. And they probably lost track of time, but again, you don't want to take forever to do this. If you're quick, 15 minutes, 20 minutes is a really good time amount. So now we're going to do another prayer and a blessing with the smoke. And so this is a safety issue. If you have a gas stove, this is where you want to put a little more herbs than you did before. Okay? You want to be careful. It's so easy to tip over this pan, all right? But you're going to just pray for her while you're smudging her, okay? And you can have them turn around because we're using a stove, and get just really skinny. Get all sides of her. Even try to pull this down to her feet. You know, take advantage of it. Take advantage of it and pray for her. You know, you can pray this serenity prayer. Whatever it is you want to pray for her, that's when you use your second prayer. Then you can turn it off. You might, on this one, have to turn on, oh, it's not plugged in. Turn on your fan. Okay? Now comes the fun part. Now is where we separate the girls from the ladies, because now you're going to do the breath of life. And I highly encourage you to practice this many times before you do this on another person, because we are very self-conscious when it comes to spitting, okay, which is a good thing. But this is not spitting. This is a mist. Okay, don't think of it as spitting. It's a mist, like mists of Avalon, whatever. But you're taking your water cup. I love you people. That's why I'm showing you how to do this. And you probably need a drink of water by now. Okay. And then you just take like the tiniest amount. A teaspoon, maybe. It's a very small amount because You're learning how to do this. I know, but you just have to practice it. And you put all that water just right here in the front of your mouth. And what I like to do is breathe the breath of life over their head, because then those drops that aren't a mist will just fall on you, okay? And only the mist will go up on them. Okay. But as funny and silly as it is so important of a step, because we have just like brushed them with the herbs. We have made them feel very vulnerable and safe with the egg. And we just smudge them with the smoke. And they're in a very sacred space right now. And we have to get them back into their body. Okay? So this is not a game, what we're doing. You know, we're having a very big impact on their different energy bodies. Okay? And so this step is very important. However, if you don't feel confident to do the mist, you can just take your water and get them really good though, because it's not really a mist like if it was coming from your breath. And get them really good, especially right here. So, woo, they perk back up, okay? Get them really good. And do that until you feel confident that she's really back in this 3D world. Okay, and then comes my favorite part, my sisters and brothers. And sometimes I feel like this is all you would really have to do. You don't even need to do any of this stuff I just showed you. All you really need to do, and you know, like when you perform a blessing like this, the client gives you an offering. It may be some fruit. It may be some money. It may be a smudge stick or something. But I really feel that when a client comes to me with their broken heart, that is what they're really giving me. They're trusting me to patch up with them and help them put back together that broken heart with all our spiritual tools and with the prayers and with the power of love. So this is like where I acknowledge that, like in the beginning, I'm just like focused on the work, but now we're at the end and it's done and I can see the results. And so now I offer this glass of water, and this is when I have her sit down and drink her glass of water, and I tell her, drink it all. Sit there and just drink it all, you know, because she's processing all the things, you know, and the new feeling. She has a new feeling in her body, and she's integrating that and processing that. And so if it didn't work out for you to be able to do this kitchen Limpia for your friend, you can always do this. Pour her a glass of water, pray for her, give it to her, and make her drink the whole thing. Okay? That is like, anyway, to me, that's when I feel just, it's just hard to describe, but I always forget I'm going to feel that way too, you know, but once I offer the client the water, you just got to do it. It's a very beautiful thing, okay? And then she's going to talk, she's going to feel better. You are going to clean this up because this is an altar and this was a ritual. So now you still have work to do, and you can do it while she's sitting there drinking her water. Okay. So we have, I didn't use all the herbs. If she has, if she does her own blessings and offerings, which is probably not, you could leave it with her. If you, these were blessed and they weren't used, so if you just want to wrap them up and take them home, you can use it for your stuff at home, you know, that would be fine. You make sure you drink all your water, okay? Don't dump it out. She drinks all of her water, okay? Then we have the egg or the fruit, maybe fresh herbs, and we have this. And I'll get to that in a second. But what we also have is the ash. Here's a whole nother class, but this ash is very, very protective. And I would like this ash to be placed outside of this home that you did the work in, okay? Not in the trash can. If your only resort is the compost bucket, that would work. But if that's your only resort, then that compost is probably going to the city or something. So what is really important is that this would go here at the home, okay? And I'll just leave it at that. That's kind of on you to help, or if she can do it, okay? Even in a potted plant, okay? Just put it in there. What I do with it is I sprinkle it on my doorstep, but I do that at night. So anyway, but just to know that if you can, this does not go in the trash, okay? Even if you're gonna take it out with you to your vehicle and just sprinkle it as you go, that's better, okay? And this not even hot anymore if you have a tin pan. Okay, but now we have our rice, our egg, or maybe just this or this in the egg, okay? And this is the part that has to be offered back to the earth. So if she has paper towels, this would work. Newspaper is better, okay? But these days, who buys the newspaper, right? Okay, unless they have a wood stove. So you're gonna wrap these up for her. Okay, maybe like this. Okay, or, you see, okay? Or you're gonna have to get these out of here. And you know, actually, here's what I tell her, even better. If you have the sachet, you tell her, keep using this tonight. Sleep with it, okay? Keep massaging yourself with it. Because this is super nice. She can keep using this for herself tonight. If she doesn't want to, okay, fine. You'll take care of it for her. But you have to trust her that she's going to take care of this the next day. If you don't trust her, you think she's going to throw it in the trash, then you take it. All right? Because the cleanup is very important. Okay? See, like, okay, so this is not going to work. It's too much stuff for you to carry. But we have something very nice these days called a Ziploc baggie, okay? And that way your rice will not get away from you, okay? And then, okay, so I'm gonna drink these. This one, just gonna put it in my pocket. or put it in a baggie. Take that home. Put the salt back. Get the towels, put them in the laundry. Put this back. Okay. You are going to wash the dishes for her. Don't just stick them in the dishwasher. You are completing this ritual. You wash the dishes for her, put them away, dry them, put them away. Now this one is where you make your decision. Is she going to offer this back to the earth, or are you? Okay? And in offering it back to the earth, you can dig a hole and put it in there with a Thanksgiving prayer. And it's always better if the patient can do it themselves. But if it's questionable at all, you do it. You take this home, you offer it back to the earth. If you have a river, throw them in the river. If all you have is dirt, dig a hole and put it in the dirt and smash that egg. And you offer another thank you, thank you, Spirit, that my friend trusted me to do this work with her. And, thank you for all the healing that you're going to do for her. And, thank you for all the hope and joy that's going to come back into her life. Something short and sweet, and bury it. Something like that, because you don't want it to get dug up, that egg, right? You're going to smash the egg when you put it in there. You don't want it to get dug up. And once it's all cleaned up, you're done. And then you want to remind her, don't do too much. So, and you want to remind her it's okay to have feelings and be emotional after this, but to keep drinking water and rest. Keep drinking water, rest, take a shower, whatever she has to do to keep processing the feelings that she might be releasing. I just changed the screen. So, I better just stop right there.